Right, we've already covered the Little Dragon, one of the systems that we've got within the group for keeping casualties warm and trying in fact to actively warm them. Mentioned briefly at the beginning of that session the other things we've got. We've got them out now on the table. So what have we got? We've got passive things to try and stop the casualty losing any more heat. We've got our casualty bag, which is pretty big, thick, good form of insulation. Work is afoot to perhaps produce a more modern, lighter weight version of that within the BCRC. Other systems we've got to try and insulate and shelter the casualty. We've got kisses or bothy bags with us. Obviously COVID at the moment, we're not using those, but they are there available should we need them, and when the situation changes, help to provide a little microclimate which is warmer the casualty. We're also going to have some foam matting or thermarest which would go in the stretcher, again allows insulation for the casualty from the environment. We've also got things like balaclavas in the first aid kits and in the first responder kits. Hopefully as a good caver you've got yourself a hat that you carry with you or a nice buff. These are available from the group at a very reasonable price. See my colleague at the end later. We also might feed the casualty as well, give them some energy, help their body generate some heat. So they're quite sort of passive systems, insulate and shelter, brilliant ways of trying to stop the casualty from getting any colder. But can we do anything to try and actively warm the casualty up? Well, you know, many years ago we might have thought about hot water bottles. These days we've got these nice hot packs which use a chemical reaction to generate heat. Got a little pack here full of liquid, little steel disc down here. You flex that disc and it starts a chain reaction which crystallizes this liquid out and generates some heat. That lasts, will give sort of 40 to 50 degrees of heat perhaps for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes or something like that, and then the pack will look like this at the end, crystalline and hard and cold. So brilliant, we can use these to actually push some heat onto the casualty, perhaps into the armpits where it's nice and warm, maybe across the chest, maybe even in the groin. They can be found in Darren drums like this in the appropriate tackle sack, 8 in each Darren drum. So you can imagine that you're using 2 or 3, you've got 2 to 3 hours worth of heat in those. We've got several of those. But modern technology's moved on. Heated gilets for the outdoors have been available for some considerable time. So under the auspices of the BCRC, Ian Peachy has started to look at producing a heated jacket which might perhaps add to or replace some of this technology. Okay, so let's have a look at the heated jacket. Ian Peachy has designed this, and the BCRC have produced about 6, which is sort of on evaluation with the teams at the moment. Obviously it's designed for both perhaps walking wounded, shall we say, and immobile casualties. How does it work? What's involved? Well, we've got a jacket here which is just designed for the core of the body, keep the torso warm. That's really what it's about. We're not too worried about the arms, we're not too worried about the legs, but important to keep the torso warm. So it's nice, it's flexible, hopefully easy to put on, flip over someone's head. One size fits everyone. It's made out of a very light modern material. Our existing casualty bag, for those who've used it in perhaps the more extreme environments like otter, will know that when it starts to take on water and mud, it becomes quite unmanageable. Also, it will feel cold to the casualty if it's up around their face. So modern materials, lighter weight, more water repellent, are being used in this development. So as I said, it's a nice sort of gilet style, fold it over someone's head, we put it over to easily, not too worried about whether arms need to be out or in, anything like that. Comes down, comes over. We've got Velcro closures which we can use at the back. We've got a neck baffle which, if we need to open it so that we can see things, if we need to close it, we can close it as well. Keep the heat in around the core of that body. Really important. So what about the heating element? Well, on the front here we've got a pocket. This is where the battery will go, but the heating pad, we flip that over the casualty's head, Okay, it goes on this inner pocket here. Okay, connecting the two, there's a little eyelet, so we need to take our heating pad, proprietary as I said at the moment, but there is development within the project to produce a custom one. And first thing to do is to find that little eyelet and to post the battery cable through between the two pockets. In reality, it's likely to be that this will stay in the jacket, you know, once it's packed away. Right, but should it be disassembled for whatever reason, it's good to know how to put it together. So, we get that through, we then make sure that the cable's on the right side of the pocket, tuck it in, make sure that it's nice and flat, it goes into all the corners, it's not creased, got to think a little bit about the Casualty's comfort, slide it down and in. Okay, and then we can seal the Velcro back up. See, at that point we're going to go up and over. And here. So we've got the cable through now to the front pocket. What would we do? Well, we want to make sure that the Casualty is nice and snug, so they would need to either move a little bit so that we can close the heated jacket around them. There's also a belt here to ensure that it is nice and snug, which we can do. Okay, and then we've got our cable, we've got our proprietary battery pack. Now, these battery packs are said proprietary. There is, within the project, the aim to design a nice ruggedised pack with good long life for cave rescue. Because it's not ruggedised and it's not waterproof, our chairman has kindly lent us one of his special aqua packs, which is designed to have a cable exiting from it. So the cable goes through the side. Make sure you've got enough, because you're going to need to connect it up to the battery and then tuck it inside. Okay, so we go that goes through the side, that all fits back together, which I'm quite informed is quite a little bit of a fiddle. But there we are, so that goes through the side, these clips rotate and then snap closed to do that. We can then take our battery, take the protective element off, connect it up to the pack and slide the pack in. But for clarity I'll operate it out. So, okay, so there's two buttons, there's one that says on and up and there's one that says off and down. That seems pretty straightforward. A short press on the on button turns it on, and you won't be able to see in this light, but there's a number 1 on there now. So this provides variable power, and you can now use the up and down functions to cycle through the power levels that are available. And I think there's 9 power levels on this. So you might start and think, well, let's try and get some heat into the Casualty. So you might start on quite a high setting, but obviously that's going to use the battery up quicker. So perhaps after a certain amount of time, you might choose to scale that down so that you prolong the battery life. Once that's all in the pack and sealed up nicely so that it is going to survive our cave environments, we can open the pocket, tuck it in nicely out of the way. As I said, the jacket is designed for both, you know, stretcher casualties and those who are walking wounded. Easily go on over a furry, provide a little bit of heat. That person, you know, turn somebody from who potentially might be a stretcher case into walking wounded, because we can warm them up. Brilliant modern project to design a piece of kit specifically for cave rescue. Excellent.